Bato, bato, pick. Bato, bato, pick.
Hello, science fans, and welcome to SHE-ensya. Our topic for today is the reason why corals rot. About 8 years ago, I was lucky enough to have been given the opportunity to visit the California Academy of Sciences in San Francisco. And lo and behold, when we went to visit the museum, we were welcomed by the sight of an amazing simulation of a coral reef from the Philippines. After joking around about flying 12 hours just to see a Batangas reef we get to visit almost every summer, we realized the wonder and importance of this natural formation that we have in abundance. That it had to be recreated in a controlled facility across the Pacific Ocean some 11,000 kilometers away. But before we move forward with our discussion, let me make one thing clear. Corals are not rocks. Some of you might find this funny, some of you weird, and some absurd that it's actually a point that we need to clarify. With the slew of maritime accidents and the greater concern for boat damage, it has become glaringly obvious that a lot of people consider corals as non-living decorative marine features. But corals are much more than beautiful things under the sea where fish can live on. Corals are marine invertebrates or animals that have no backbone under class Anthozoa and phylum Cnidaria. This means they are closely related organisms to anemones and jellyfish. Interestingly, the word Anthozoa, when roughly translated to English, actually means flower animal. Which makes sense because corals are animals that look like flowers because of their polyp structure. A polyp is one of the two body forms found in the phylum Cnidaria. Polyps are roughly cylindrical in shape and elongated at the axis of the vase-shaped body. Typically, one end is attached to the soil or the sand or a rock by means of a disc-like structure called the pedal disc. The opposite end, called the oral end, contains the mouth and is surrounded by a circlet of tentacles. Other organisms under class Anthozoa have an alternate form called the medusa. This is generally the short-lived but mobile sexual phase of the organism in this class. Corals are typically in their non-moving polyp form. Tropical reef-building corals also have plant-like organisms that are algae living within their tissues, and these are called zooxanthellae. Corals cannot live without zooxanthellae. The zooxanthellae live inside the polyp's tissue. The coral gives the algae a home, and in return, the algae provide the coral with food. There are two general types of corals if you base it on their body types. There are soft corals and there are hard corals. Soft corals have no solid exoskeleton. However, their tissues are often reinforced by small supportive elements known as sclerites made of calcium carbonate. The polyps of soft corals have eightfold symmetry. Soft corals vary significantly in their form. Some look like soft pudgy sponges, while others look like fluffy mushrooms. And most of them also live in a colonial manner, meaning they live in groups. Hard corals, on the other hand, create skeletons that are biocomposites of calcium carbonate. These are called calcite or aragonite. The polyps of stony corals have six-fold symmetry and they are cylindrical and often taper to a point. Considering their limited mobility, what and how do corals eat? Polyps actually feed on a large variety of small organisms, from microscopic zooplankton to small fish. The polyps sting or even kill their prey by releasing venom through these structures called nematocysts. Nematocysts carry venom which they rapidly release in response to contact with another organism. The venom is injected through the hollow filament to immobilize the prey. The tentacles then maneuver the prey into the stomach. But the bulk of the nutritional needs of the corals are provided by the zooxanthellae. And that's why coral bleaching is such a problem. Coral bleaching occurs when coral polyps expel the zooxanthellae that live inside their tissues. The algae provides up to 90% of the coral's energy. Bleached corals may continue to live but begin to starve after bleaching. The most common reason for coral bleaching is increases in water temperature. An increase by just 1 degree Celsius is enough to cause massive coral bleaching. Climate change has caused massive coral bleaching worldwide. And though some reefs recover, a lot do not. But why should we care about coral bleaching events anyway? Considering that more than 80% of the Philippine population are at risk of storm surges, tsunamis, and flooding, we may want to have those Philippine populations have their corresponding coral reefs. Coral reefs reduce wave energy by 97%, and they actually shorten the wave height by 87% also. Apart from that, the presence of coral reefs near the shore lessen the impact of flooding by 91%. A healthy reef also means more fish. 38% of total wild fish capture come from fish that are dependent on healthy coral reefs. And considering that more than 53% of Filipino fishermen do not have motorized boats, this means they are also dependent on the presence of healthy reefs near the shore. And if these reefs all become bleached, then they will also lose their income and source of food. So as you can see, corals are not useless rocks, but they certainly do rock. I hope you were able to learn something from this short video on corals. If you want to learn more about these amazing creatures, please visit the website and Facebook and Instagram page of the Brother Alfred Shields FSC Ocean Research Center. There, you can see pictures from their dives and also amazing tips on how to take care of our oceans. I hope you can give this video a thumbs up also and subscribe to our channel. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please don't hesitate to message me in the comments section below. Thank you very much and see you around!